In today's W analysis, while the legacy of Medgar Evers is timeless, American author and Mississippi native William Faulkner once said, "To understand the world, you must first understand a place like Mississippi." Mississippi is one of the most complicated case studies on race relations in American history. A state that has always had one of the highest numbers of Black people per capita, but institutionally and historically, Mississippi has always oppressed Black people. Now, don't get me wrong, I can acknowledge progress. As a Black man from Mississippi who grew up in a Black church, partially governed by my Black family, I attended a predominantly white high school and graduated from a predominantly white evangelical college, the same college that wouldn't accept my own grandfather. To best understand Mississippi, you have to look at the people. And in Reid's 2024 book, Medgar and Myrlie, Medgar Evers and the Love Story That Awakened America, Reid speaks to the character and tenacity of the young couple as they battle racism in the most volatile parts of the state. Last September, 21-year-old Delta State University student Reid was found hanged on a tree on campus. Officials were quick to label it a suicide, but every Black person in Mississippi subconsciously knows a Black person would never hang himself. In a state that shot and killed Reverend George Lee, a state that justified the killing of 14-year-old Emmett Till, a state where lynchings were on fairgrounds, where civil rights activists were killed by Klan-infested police, the thought of a Black student committing the act of himself on a college campus makes the official suddenness to hush it all the more trouble. Don't forget this during the time Charlie Kirk was killed and many HBCUs received threats. And though Delta State's not an HBCU, the Mississippi Delta is a third of Black people in Mississippi. So how does this tie into Medgar Evers? A good amount of his work was done in the Mississippi Delta. Medgar spent much of his time educating the most rural of Black people about life insurance and leading voting registration efforts for the NAACP. Klan activity was heavy in Mississippi, and a more sophisticated violent group called the White Citizens Council was formed in 1955. Yet, Medgar still became the voice of the Mississippi oppressed and destitute. He constantly laid his life down for Black Mississippians who needed to flee the state from danger. And though he was a husband and a father of three, self-preservation was second to his overall cause of putting racism in the most racist state to an end. That's why cases like the March Trayvon unfortunately remind us that there's more work to be done, more awareness to spread. With education being critical to success, no student should be lynched in the pursuit of education, and officials just brush it on by. But I digress. And so, if Faulkner is right in his understanding the world by understanding Mississippi quote, it's safe to assume that though racism isn't as collectively brutal as it was in times past, it's still ever present and it won't be solved by brushing it under the rug. Racism has become more subtle in many ways. The exploration and profitization of the Black body will always be a factor in the American capitalistic order. But in the spirit of Medgar and Myrlie Evers, the commitment to ending racism is a life commitment. And in Medgar and Myrlie, we see that though the commitment may cost your life, the fight for future generations is priceless. Like if you enjoyed this segment, share if it could benefit others, subscribe for more book-related content. Till then, stay in the book or stay out the way.